This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
So recently I got everybody involved in a very interesting thing that we did as far as space sci-fi games. And we got a bunch of lists out of it because we had like over 150 entries for it. And there were so many good games, there was no way that you could just make one top 10 out of it. So I decided to break things up a little bit, and we did like, you know, space sci-fi top 12. And then there was, what I decided to do was put together a list of my top 10 space battle games, meaning, you know, ship battle games. And these are only games that have ships in them. So, you know, going through this, this was even hard to try to put this together because there was just so many stuff. I mean, I could have included some other stuff on here, but I felt that they were more 4X games. Zaya easily could have been on this list, but I kept them off. But you'll see that they're on another list. Let me see what else was here. I mean, there were just a lot of things. I kept I put one star. You know, I could have put Outer Rim on here if I wanted to. I could have put, you know, there were a bunch. I could have put BattleTech on here. There were like several different versions of other games that I could have put on here. I could have put Star Trek Ascendancy on here in some way, and yet I didn't. But I wanted to mention those games anyways. Starfist is another game I should have put on here, but I just couldn't find the room, and I just felt that the list I came up with I was pretty satisfied with. So without further ado, the top 10 sci-fi space ship battle games. I guess that's the best way to put it. So at number 10 is probably one of the most in recent memory memorable games for this, and I put both of these together because basically they're the same game, only different IPs, and that's X-Wing and Attackwing. When this came out, you know, some people say when they kept messing with this that they messed this game up and they killed this game. But the original, having painted miniatures of either Star Trek or Star Wars, was just fantastic because it built the theme and you lived the battles. All you needed was the space map because everything came in that starter box and you were off and running. Matter of fact, I built a trench for it one time, and boy, that's how I got into this business. So it needed to be at number 10. So number 10, X-Wing and Attackwing. At number 9 is Planetary, an old favorite that was spun off by, you know, Starfist. That came from it. That's why Starfist isn't on this list. But Planetary is an old Steve Jackson game, simplified but complicated, and just plain fun. Old school all the way. If you haven't had a chance to play it, I really highly suggest that you try it out. It's one of those favorites that still remains in my collection to this day. At number 8, well, you know, even though we just talked about X-Wing, when they came out with Armada and you could play big time space battles, that was even more glorious. And it's just one of those things that sticks with me. I love Armada. It's one of those games I will never give up. I have it, and I enjoy playing it. It's a lot of fun. I love the little battle packs that you get with, so you can do squadrons of things and trying to take out some of these monstrosities. Yeah, good luck with that. Just one of those all-time great games. As the ships got bigger, you know, the game just got bigger as well, and just you needed more table, and that's why we have the table that we have here, is so we can do bigger battles. And boy, well, when you do it, it is a great fun experience. This is a game that if I were you, get your hands on it now, because it will go away, and what a shame that will be. At number 7 is an all-time old school favorite from the 90s for me, and that is Babylon 5 Wars. They had some of the best pewter ships I've ever seen. And when we painted them up and we were playing this game, it was just so glorious. And it was one of my favorites. It was just a shame of how it just kind of came out and then kind of disappeared in the same instance. But it was a game I never forgot and never got rid of either. And it's just one of those things that just continually stays in my collection at number 7, Babylon 5 Wars. Check it out if you can. I think you can find the rules and the ships on the secondary market. Number 6, Renegade Legion. Now this had so many different incarnations. When I talk about the Renegade series, I'm talking about the whole series, not just Legion. I mean, complicated, hard, but rewarding. I think that's the best way you can put this game. Check it out. It's just one of those games that is an acquired taste, and for me, you know, when I was looking at this list, it fit right perfectly at 6. Frustration because it could be you know, a little tedious, but yet you can never walk away from it. You know, it's just one of those great games, and that's why it's number 6 on this list. At number 5 is probably a game that isn't as great a space battle game as you think. It's good, but the models, the lore, and being able to take Space Marines into space and fight it out, folks, Battlefleet Gothic has to be there. You know, when we play the game, it's always fun. But it's not one of those things that you go, wow, this is just such an overwhelmingly, you know, the rules are so tight on this. What is impressive is when you get, you know, the Space Marine fleet out there, the Imperial fleet, the Chaos fleet, which looks glorious, and then you're rolling 92 dice. And, you know, it's just one of those games that the gameplay is good, but everything that builds the theme makes it great. You know, and then when they came with the Necrons, how glorious they were. The Blackstone Fortress and the stories that you told there. Just really, you know, you worked it into... We would play it 1 week. We would play a battle of Battlefleet Gothic, and have a certain amount of troops invading a planet, the Orc planet, and whatever ships you lost after a certain amount of turns, you would have to roll a die, and you would lose that many troops going down. So you could be landing on a planet at a disadvantage, and then the next week we would do the ground battle. I mean, that's just telling you how great the lore and everything with Battlefleet Gothic really is. At number 4, Starfleet Battles. And I want to include empires and federations in there with this, because it's basically kind of the same thing. There have been so many incarnations of this fantastic game. This is the ASL of space battles, and I have to say it is, you know, pretty complicated. There's a lot going on, but if you simplify things and keep it easy, it's a lot of fun. If you want to go all out and didn't put everything in there, well, guess what? That's a lot of fun too. This is just the ultimate pinnacle of Star Trek games. I really believe that. I in my heart of hearts, this is an old game that just deserves a lot of love, and I'm telling you right now, one of my all-time favorites, and deserves to be on this list at number 4. At number 3 is a game that you know, some people either love it or hate it. For me, I love it. I love the ships. I love the 10 pounds of metal that come in the box if you get the metal version of it, or all the plastic that you get if you get a plastic version of it. And you could still find it today. It is Silent Death, and it is just one of those squadron battle games, missiles flying all over the place. We always play with asteroids that move, and the damage that they do. It's just one of those games that is very sentimental to me, and for me, is high on this list because of how much it means to me, and how much I love this game. So, at number 3, Silent Death. And number 2 is a game that came out around the same time, and I discovered that the company is still going. I think it's a GEZ or something like that. But go look up Full Thrust and go to their homepage. You can still order all these modules and all these ships, which is just mind-blowing. So I'm going to tell you this much. There's a box set that's out, and I brought it in. Even though I had everything, I said, let me bring in the box and see how different the rules are. Cleaned up, done very well. Full Thrust is a fantastic game. The only thing that, like I always tell everybody, that turned me off from the original game and we didn't play as much was the Falons. And it was just kind of, I had small kids that were playing the games, and who wanted to be the Falcon? Well, okay, why don't we play with some of the other factions? It was a game that we had to be careful when we got out, because things just didn't look right. That's all I'm going to say. Figure it out from the name. But Full Thrust is just an all-out, glorious, great game. It's one of those space games where, it has a battle tech feel a little bit. You're checking off boxes, and certain things are going to go, and you're going to lose certain things, and then eventually say goodbye to your core. But a tremendous, fun, great experience. It's a game I highly, highly suggest that you get because of what it does, how it does it, and how well it does it. One of the most premier space games of all time in my heart, and it sits at number 2. But my number one all time is Talon and its expansions. I love this game. I love playing with the markers on it, being able to write on each chit, again marking out certain areas that get hit, powering up, assigning power, generating power, firing. So much you can do on a chit, and the chits are beautiful. The map is beautiful. Everything about this game is everything you want in a space battle game. And if you don't have it, go to GMT and get it. I'm telling you right now. Or if they're redoing it on the 500, go get it. I'm telling you, with that and the expansions that are out for it, you won't be disappointed. This is a great, great game. This plays well. It's quick, easy to learn. There are great videos out there. I've done some live plays on it. Go check it out. Talon is my all-time favorite spaceship battle games. That's what we'll call it, spaceship battle games. And I love this game beyond human belief. And this is just one of those games that will always be in my collection. And of course, done by the great GMT, who do nothing but great things because that's what they are. They're just glorious. So, there you go. My top 10. We probably got one more top 10 out of all these space stuff. But, hey, we wouldn't have had this if it wasn't for you, the people that watch this channel. And I want to thank you all so much for all your help putting these lists together. And we've got more to come. So until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.